The late, great John Bolster, former technical editor of Autosport, was one of the first to introduce twin-engine cars onto the hills way back in the 30s. And this is the modern equivalent. This is the Bill Chaplin-built Force SR8, which runs two Suzuki Hayabusa engines in line, in fact making effectively a straight 8. And Sue Hayes and Chris Cannell share the car. This is former Gurston Down ladies record holder Sue Hayes now coming to the line with the Force car. Chris Cannell just walking up behind. It'll be his turn in the car in a couple of moments time, but this unique machine now coming towards the start, and of course running in the over 2 litre Sports Libre cars. Just listen to the sound of this incredible machine as it leaves the Gurston start line. Straight 8 motorcycle engine machine. Hollow Bend then, Sue Hayes with the Force SR8. Just 2 runners in this class. It's Sue Hayes and Chris Cannell in the same car, so it's a battle between the 2 of them. But she's out of ashes now, the former Gurston ladies record holder, and heads up over Burke's Rise towards the finish, and the clocks stop on 32.93 for Sue Hayes. Into the historic class now, and a driver who's been competing at Gurston Down almost as long as the hill's been in existence. This is Reg Broom from Sidmouth with his Cooper T65. This is a 1963 Formula Junior car which was run by Écurie Belge back in the days of the 1100cc Formula, but of course the car now running a Ford twin cam Lotus unit. Reg Broom, a great Cooper enthusiast, also has one of the very rare Cooper bobtails which he occasionally brings to Gurston Down as well. But this is the single-seater which he's been competing in virtually every meeting over the past 2 or 3 decades. Heading for the finish now, Reg Broom to set the first time in the historic class, and for the Sidmouth man it's 39.06. Hugh Kemp has appeared at Gurston Down in a variety of machines over the years, but the former BARC Southwest Centre treasurer now at the wheel of this Palliser WDF3 single-seater, originally a Formula 3 car which was driven by Damien McGee, but now converted to Formula Ford spec with the 1600cc Kent engine. His sons also compete at Gurston Down, but this is the wily man, Hugh Kemp, now with this Palliser, looking to beat Reg Broom's 39.06 in the historic class. And looks set to just about do that as he heads for the line, and time for Hugh Kemp, 38.25, so that's the class lead. And now another regular Gurston supporter, Andover farmer Jeff Hunt with this immaculate Lotus 22, rebuilt by Simon Hadfield from the car which was originally built by Colin Chapman for hill climber Tom Elton, as a hill climb car in fact, not as a Formula 3 car for which the cars were originally built. But Jeff Hunt now in this pristine machine now, the Lotus 22, Ford twin cam power of course. Usually the hot tip to win this class, although he hasn't yet broken the record. It's 33.95, which stands to Melissa Harrott in the Brabham BT21B, set several years ago. But Jeff Hunt on course to take the class win with the Lotus, and indeed 34.84 is the class winning time. Now it's back to that twin-engine Force SR8 Sports Libre car, and local man Chris Cannell from Salisbury brings the straight 8 machine to the line. achieved his first ever 29-second run just a few meetings ago, so now he's going for Justin Smith's record of 29.49, which was set back in 2003. Well, should be a 29-second run for Chris Cannell. Looks a good run so far into Carousel with the Bill Chaplin built car. These cars built down at Bridgewater in Somerset by the former motorcycle ace. Chris Cannell now heading for the finish. 29.49 is the target, Justin Smith's record, and he stops the clocks. Well, it's a 29, but it's 29.87 and the class win. So as Peter Clark comes to the line in his Jedi to open the 600cc single-seater class, our ever-efficient start line team of Vicky, Debbie, Rudy, Pat and Brian get ready to line up yet another car. In fact, some 600 cars are in action over the course of the day, including practice and the event, so it's a long day for them. They do a great job as always, and Peter Clark now well on his way with the John Corbin built car. These Jedi cars very popular in hill climbing and on the circuits, built at Wellingborough in Northampton. This particular one with a Honda CBR 4-stroke. And Peter Clark used to race a Rover 816 GTI and a Caterham K series on the circuits, but took to hill climbing a couple of years ago. He's heading for the line to set the first time in the 600cc class, and he stops the clocks in 35.85 seconds. The other 600 runner at Gurston today is Tony Pashley with the Marengo. This is the third car that Tony Pashley's built, and the last two have been featured at length in Racetech magazine over a considerable period of years. In fact, this car first appeared at Gurston Downs national meeting last year in 2005. Tony Pashley going well now, attacking Peter Clark's time of 35.85 as he comes into the bottom of Carousel. But Tony gets the car out of shape, exiting Deer Leap, and hits the Recticel barrier head on. Doesn't do too much damage. The foam-filled barriers do a remarkably good job as always. Very little damage to the front of the car, but of course this means more work for our ever hard-working marshals at Ashes Bend. But the car will be retrieved, and Tony will be able to take the car back to the paddock to effect repairs. To the line now, Grandpa Dave Hendry, one of Gurston Downs' senior citizens, the first runner in the 2-litre Sport Sleeper class, actually running a Clubman spec Vision with crossflow forward unit. Dave Hendry away from the line now in this car, which was previously run by local man Tom New, and before that by double British Hill Climb champion Graham White Jr. several seasons back. But the car now running back in Clubman spec in the Sport Sleeper class as Dave Hendry comes into the Carousel now. These cars originally built in East Anglia by Paul Gibson. Dave Hendry now up over the top of Burke's Rise, heading towards the finish line to set the first time in this 2-litre class. The finish line in sight now, and he crosses it on 37.28. Kevin Plummer from Fleet on the line now with this Opel Corsa, a saloon car in fact, running in the Sports Sleeper class, but ineligible to run as a modified production car because the degree of modification is quite high. So running in with the Sports Sleepers, this immaculate car now of Kevin Plummer, regular competitor in the Bridge Tyres ASWMC Southwest Championship. They also run a round of that series at Gurston Down. But here's Kevin Plummer now into the Carousel with this immaculately prepared Opel Corsa, 2-litre Vauxhall unit of course, 37.28 to beat, set by David Hendry as Kevin Plummer heads for the line, and he's just about to cross it. Looks like a 36, yes, 36 36.05 for Kevin Plummer and class lead. On the line now, a familiar sight at Gurston Down. It's the twin cam Phoenix 02H of David Frampton, who shares the car with Father John, who's been competing here almost since the hill began in 1967, together with Hedley Hutchins. But young David has been driving the car for the last 4 or 5 years now and is quite regularly getting the edge over Father John, but not always. It's usually a pretty close run thing. But this car, which knows its way up Gurston Down virtually blindfold, already into the left-hander at Ashes, and looking to take the class lead. Time to beat at the moment then is Kevin Plummer's 36.05 in the Saloon Opel Corsa, and the Phoenix 02H over the line now. It's the class lead, 34.41. Now on the line, Keith Diggle from Aldershot with this WEV HCS. This former 1200 Formula Circuit racer, actually now running a Cosworth 2-litre BDG unit, and a good start there from Keith Diggle, looking to take the class lead as he dives down the hill into the fast left-hander at Hollow. Central, almost single-seater driving position for this car, but running cycle-type wings, so running in the Sport Sleeper class. He's already out of the top part of carousel now, heading towards the left-hander at Ashes. Now that crucial slingshot over the top of Burke's Rise towards the finish line. Keith Diggle looking for the class lead. He's got to beat 34.41, and he does that easily. 32.54 for Keith Diggle. Paul Crocker is a regular and very rapid competitor in the southeast with this immaculate 1100cc Kawasaki powered Jedi, and he's away from the line to set the first time in this class for 1100 single seaters. Once again, these Jedi cars are all built at Wellingborough in Northamptonshire by John Corbin, very popular in racing as well, and Crocker really taking a tight line into the bottom part of carousel now. He's into Ashes, the final left-hander. Again, a little bit of a tail slide on the exit, but heading for the finish line to set the first time in the class. And for Paul Crocker, it's 31.85. Next to the line, it's Rick Tompkins in an OMS, a rival manufacturer to Jedi. These cars built by Steve Owen up in Leeds. Rick, a relative newcomer to Gurston Down in this 1100cc single-seater. He's away from the line now, down the hill. The fast left-hander at Hollow Bend coming up, and the OMS into the bend and a little bit sideways on the exit. He's very fast into carousel, but it's a little bit too fast, and the OMS skates straight on into the Recticel barrier. Cameraman Tony Bray's sunglasses slide across your picture as the car comes to a halt, but no problems there for Rick, just a little bit of damage to the front of the car as the marshals once again have a clear-up job to do. Coming to the line now, the PCD Saxon Suzuki of former Gurston Down top 10 champion Nick Gregory. This car originally built for Rob Barksfield, designed by former Team Lotus Formula 1 designer Martin Ogilvie. An immaculate car, ultra lightweight and very successful. So Nick Gregory will be looking to take the class lead away in the 1100 division now as he comes into the bottom part of carousel. Very neat and tidy run this from Gregory. Took the Gurston Top 10 title in a 4-litre Cosworth DFL powered Pilbeam several seasons ago, but back behind 1100cc's of motorcycle power, and he takes the class lead on 31.13 seconds.